And this one, just look at it for a second before I say anything. Wait, is this hand-drawn? Is this CAD? If you look carefully, actually wait, zoom in here. I mean, come on, look at the details, the Easter eggs, the texture. Take a second. It's really more than an image. Everyone's trying to make their work look different using the same AI tools. And the result is everything is starting to look the same. Now, I talk about AI a lot in this channel. I use it, I think it's useful, and I'm not here to argue against it, but there's something it's doing to architectural representation that I think is worth paying attention to. It's making everyone's work look similar and not distinct. And that's not a tool problem, that's a direction problem, because it wasn't always this way. If you look at the drawings that actually push the field, none of them got here by running the same process as everyone else. And yeah, I know, Rossi, Koolhaas, Shumi, classic architectural school references, but just stay with me for a second. Aldo Rossi drew cities the way he thought about memory. Fragmented, haunted, assembled from repetition. Koolhaas used diagrams as arguments. The drawing wasn't representing the project, it was the project. And Atelier Bow Wow turned the section into a comic strip, dense, inhabited, domestic in a way that no render has ever managed to be. And Shumi borrowed from film theory to represent movement, event, and sequence in a building that did not exist yet. Every time I look at these images, I notice something different, honestly. These drawings still feel original today, not because the tools were super advanced. Most of them were done with ink or very normal software, but because each one started with two questions. What does this project actually need to say, and what medium can say it? And that question, what does this project need to say, is almost completely gone right now because most of us aren't asking it anymore. We're just filling out requirements. My project needs 5 renders, 1 section, 1 anatometric, and a site plan, and done. But nobody's stopping to ask, what does this specific project actually need to communicate? So where are all the architects who are still making that decision? One of the places I keep finding them in, and this is actually why I'm making this video, is the Archisource Drawing of the Year Awards catalog. This year, they invited me to be part of the judging panel, which honestly, made me want to go back through the archive and break down what makes these drawings stand out. And full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Archisource. I just genuinely think it's one of the most curated selections of serious representation work out there. Okay, so starting with mixed media, and this one, just look at it for a second before I say anything. As a first impression, it literally looks like a screenshot from the SketchUp viewport with the 3D model in the center and each elevation view projected on each face. But when you look at it deeper, you start to notice the intentionality of this move. It's an image that is multifunctional. It's showing the complete plan of the project. You've got the floor plan with textures and detail. You can easily understand the distribution of space. It also shows the elevations and sections of the house along with a solar analysis of the project. Then when you focus on the center of the drawing, you realize it's not a screenshot of a 3D model at all, but a really elaborate, intricate, and detailed axonometric view of the entire project. And it's also a sectioned axonometric where you can see the interior of the house, the materiality, the distribution, the space. And the decision the author made here was a non-traditional one. Instead of creating 8 separate images, they decided to make the documentation of the whole process, like the 3D model, the elevations, the illustrations, everything into one single image. And that's the decision AI could not have made without a previous reference image to work from, because it's not a conventional output. It's a reframing of the process itself as the final drawing, which sounds simple when I say it like that, but I think about how different that is from how most of us work. So lesson number 1, save everything. The sketches, the documentation, the in-progress screenshots. Ask yourself, how can I use this or reuse this? Sometimes the process is the drawing. Now for digital drafting, this section caught me immediately. It's a perspective section of a project showing the interior, the construction detail, and some additional construction details on the side. And the first thing I thought when I saw this was, wait, is this hand-drawn? Is this CAD? And I think that confusion honestly is kind of like the whole point. What makes this image work so well is that it pairs two qualities that we normally treat as opposites: technicality and precision With hand-drawn and artistic, this section achieves both in a perfect balance. If you zoom in, you start to understand the intricacies. First, you notice the actual section cut that reveals the thinking behind the construction and the placement of the pieces. Then you look inside the space and notice the two people on each side, both occupied in their own things, giving the viewer, the sense of scale, but normally would be solved with a few generic CAD blocks, a chair, some clothes, some plants. Here, it's replaced by the most detailed and artistic drawings of everyday elements. And that shift makes us forget the technicality of the section and pulls us into the space. It gives personality to each room depending on who inhabits it. And if that wasn't enough, there are precise construction details added at the top and at the bottom of the drawing, communicating how the roof, the walls, and the floors are actually put together. The decision that makes this drawing what it is, the one an AI wouldn't have made without a specific reference, is the hand drawing. Whether this was physically drawn and then scanned or traced digitally, I'm honestly not completely sure. I think physical, but I can't confirm. Either way, being able to see the imperfections, the ink irregularities, the line thickness, the variation, the overall imperfectness is what makes this drawing feel alive. So lesson number 2, don't be afraid to mix opposites. Sometimes we make artistic images and separately we make technical images, but why can't it be both? This drawing is the clearest example of how to achieve that. The next image I want to show you is this render. This is the winner of the Visualization Award in the 2024 edition, and I brought it here but because it has everything a human-made render should have. And spoiler, it has nothing to do with filters, realism, or crazy animations. It has everything to do with humanity, sensibility, and haptics. How an image is felt. Like, let me just show you what I mean. From a first impression, you could honestly confuse this for a photograph, but not because of the materials or the lighting, even though those are really good as well, but it's because of the trace of humanity in it. When we inhabit a space, we leave chairs in a random order. They're never neatly organized. Not every element is always in frame. Some things go outside the frame, and that's okay. There are cables, curtains with different folds, light fixtures. It feels lived in, and we can't ignore the composition either. I mean, the 1-point perspective, the soft color palette, the no more than 3 predominant colors, and one main natural ceiling light that illuminates the whole space. Nowadays, AI can generate a render in literally under 10 seconds, but asking it to add humanity, imperfections, details that only you would know to include, that's where I think it falls apart. And even if it eventually can, would we even want to? If you can't see the difference between a deep, textured, well-composed, and thought-out image versus a purely generated AI render, honestly, that's okay, but this video is probably not for you. So lesson number 3, add a human trace to your image. What makes our day-to-day spaces feel human? Look around at your desk, your living room, your office, and try to replicate those details, those imperfections in your images. And once you start adding that level of human trace, you realize you can go even further. You can start layering in actual stories, which is exactly what this next image does. Okay, so this is the one I get irrationally excited about every time I've been looking at it, because at first glance, it's a nice centimetric, it has lots going on, but it's not necessarily complicated to imagine, right? But let me take you through each space of this image and show you the amount of individual stories or the micro stories I found in it. If we start at the top left corner, there's a group of friends eating and chatting, and right beside them, someone decided to take this moment to do some yoga and also feed the pigeons with some leftover food. But she seems to be looking attentively at the other side of the image, where we see a second group of friends that are apparently having a really fun conversation, and one of these people left their burger and their shake completely unprotected, so some raccoons came to steal it. And now outside of the building, some guys are getting ready to leave on, I don't know, an adventure trip or maybe moving out. They also left all their unused stuff in boxes on the street for anyone to take, while some other people who apparently live in the same building receive a delivery. And now inside the building, different people share spaces. There's like a recurring passion for chess that shows up throughout the apartment. Like, food is the main protagonist everywhere. A leftover box of Joe's pizza, a rat eating a slice, and then if you look carefully, actually wait, zoom in here, a person working at a computer with an OMA book on the side, a classic one by the way, who is clearly drawing this exact image, which, I mean, come on, It's a full circle moment and it makes you genuinely smile. When was the last time an architectural image made you zoom in because you actually wanted to? Not because you had to check the materials or the dimensions, but because you were genuinely curious about what else was in there. For me, it's rare, it's like really rare, and this one does it. And here's the thing, all of these micro stories are not decoration. They're doing real architectural work, talking about space distribution, circulation, how the building is intended to be used, facade details, sustainability elements. It's all in there, just wrapped inside something you actually want to look at. And I know what the comments are going to say, Steven, if I spent this long in a single image, my boss would fire me, or this is student work, no real client actually asked for this. And honestly, I get it, but these types of images are what make architecture and not just real estate or engineering, but the aesthetic decisions that we make are just as valid as the technical ones. They always go hand in hand, and the architects who risk making drawings like this, they're the ones pushing the conversation forward. So lesson number 4, don't be afraid to add layers. Even a touch of humor and sarcasm can make an image tell a story that a straightforward render never will. Now, before we get to the final image, I will want to invite you to participate in this year's edition of the Drawing of the Year Awards. And again, I'm not getting paid to say this. This year, Archisource invited me to be a judge for the awards, which is honestly a privilege, and it's part of why I made this video. Plus, for the winners, I'm giving out the entire everything pack, more than 2,000 resources, the trees, the people, the furniture, the textures, the patterns, the brushes, all of it on top of all of the other prices that the Archisource team is giving out. So if you genuinely want to make a difference in architectural representation, and if this video gave you even one idea, go submit something. The link will be in the description. I'm really curious to see what you're going to make. Okay, now the last one. And this one is, I don't even know where to start with this one, honestly, so I'm just gonna show it first so you can interpret it by your own. It's actually hard to pin down a single thing it does right, because if you look at all of the lessons from every image we've looked at and then put them together, you'd end up with something close to this. It's not just one image, it's a series of images that each work independently but together tell a complete story. I won't go deep into each one, it would honestly take its own video, so let's focus on the one that hit me the hardest. I mean, come on, look at the details, the Easter eggs, the texture. Take a second, it's really more than an image. It's a statement, and at this point the drawing has moved past just representing an architectural project and gone into telling the story of a place, of a moment in time, a new era that wanted to see changes, I think, modern changes, and in doing so sacrificed the old for the new, the history and innovation. It's all held inside the same frame. You can clearly see this was a competition about monumentality in a public building. The image is lit in a way that references Hugh Ferris's drawings of New York, and that specific type of dramatic light defines a monumental scale. And the decision here, the one that makes it impossible to replicate without intention, is that this isn't just a render of a building. It's a drawing about an idea. The form of the image is inseparable from its argument, which is the last lesson. And that, I don't know how else to say it, is just not something that AI will arrive at on its own. So to see each entry in more depth and find a ton of other incredible work, the Archisource website is linked in the description. It's genuinely a good place to get inspired. Now, if you want more videos like this, breaking down images, renders, drawings, talking about where architectural representation is actually going, please let me know in the comments. I had a lot of fun making this one. If you want to support the channel, liking and subscribing genuinely helps. It's the best signal I have that you want more of this kind of content. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Now, enough talking. Now go make it better. Bye.